Does your vision for business match what you see happening on a daily basis? Welcome to Jim White's Circle of Success show, where Jim White brings it all together. For over 30 years, Jim White has worked with organizations and individuals worldwide to help develop and implement excellence. You'll get the inside story on how to create innovative leaders from one corner of your company to the other. Get everyone on your team contributing to the bottom line. Keep building revenue even when the economy and your customers have flatlined, and more. Jim White's Circle of Success show covers it all, from communication to contract negotiation, from personal fulfillment to revving up cash flow. It's not about theories, it's about showing what works and how to make it work for you. And now, here's your host, Jim White.
Thank you, David, and welcome to the show, everyone. We got a fantastic show for you today. We're going to review some highlights of last Monday's show with Stephen M. R. Covey and Greg Link, the authors of Smart Trust. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. And we're also going to take a look at President Obama's State of the Union, certain clips of that. And the reason we're doing that is to bring to light, with our spin, Jim White's spin, on the state of America, and also to give you some tools to make your life better tomorrow than it is today, make your business better tomorrow than it is today. So I'm going to take some time to answer some of your questions that I've been receiving by email, and some of the questions are, what is the Circle of Success? Where did it come from? What does it mean? So we're going to address that, and we're going to tie all the pieces together, connect the dots, if you will, of vision and culture and all the things that you need to master if you're going to continue to set and achieve bold goals, okay? So we're going to spend the entire hour doing this, and to kick us off, I'd like for you to take a look at this clip, and it's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's part of President Obama's State of the Union, and we'll be right back after viewing this message. You're watching KYMB TV, Comcast Channel 19.
Which brings me back to where I began. Those of us who've been sent here to serve can learn a thing or two from the service of our troops. When you put on that uniform, it doesn't matter if you're black or white, Asian, Latino, Native American, conservative, liberal, rich, poor, gay, straight. When you're marching into battle, you look out for the person next to you, or the mission fails. Where you're in the thick of the fight, you rise or fall as one unit, serving one nation, leaving no one behind. Now, one of my proudest possessions is the flag that the SEAL team took with them on the mission to get bin Laden. On it are each of their names. Some may be Democrats. Some may be Republicans. But that doesn't matter. Just like it didn't matter that day in the Situation Room, when I sat next to Bob Gates, a man who was George Bush's defense secretary, and Hillary Clinton, a woman who ran against me for president. All that mattered that day was the mission. No one thought about politics. No one thought about themselves. One of the young men involved in the raid later told me that he didn't deserve credit for the mission. It only succeeded, he said, because every single member of that unit did their job. The pilot who landed the helicopter that spun out of control, the translator who kept others from entering the compound, the troops who separated the women and children from the fight, the SEALs who charged up the stairs. More than that, the mission only succeeded because every member of that unit trusted each other. Because you can't charge up those stairs into darkness and danger unless you know that there's somebody behind you watching your back. So it is with America. Each time I look at that flag, I'm reminded that our destiny is stitched together like those 50 stars and those 13 stripes. No one built this country on their own. This nation is great because we built it together. This nation is great because we worked as a team. This nation is great because we get each other's backs. And if we hold fast to that truth in this moment of trial, there is no challenge too great, no mission too hard. As long as we are joined in common purpose, as long as we maintain our common resolve, our journey moves forward, and our future is hopeful, and the state of our union will always be strong.
That message from President Obama, in my mind, lays out the need for trust, right? So what did he say? He said, trust each other. He was talking about mission. He was talking about the opportunity that we all have to succeed if we work together. He was talking about the opportunity that we have when we have a team all on one page, same page. He was talking about the opportunity to inspire. Now, I am not here today to talk about Republicans or Democrats. I'm here talking about Americans. I'm here talking about things that we can do, even in our own backyard. Sometimes we believe that we do not have a voice. You do have a voice. You have a strong voice. If you will only accept, and if you will only think big that you can do the extraordinary. And doing these extraordinary things needs to become second nature. They need to become the norm. And there's a process in doing this. And that's the reason I wanted to lead off with this clip. And where you agree or disagree with President Obama's policies, it doesn't matter. What matters is he is our chosen leader. So where you are the leader of your family, your company, you are that leader. And not everybody's going to agree with every decision that you make. But what you must do is to continue to make decisions, have bold visions and bold goals, and do not hesitate. If you make a decision and it's wrong, okay, move on to the next one. But do not make the same mistake over again, okay? Now, as we go through the hour, like I said, I'm going to drill down, one of my favorite words, I'm going to drill down on the circle of success. And I want you to grab a pad and pen and make some notes. And I want you to think about how you can start incorporating components of the circle of success in your life and in your business. Now, let's take a look at this next clip from President Obama.
Tonight, my message to business leaders is simple. Ask yourselves what you can do to bring jobs back to your country, and your country will do everything we can to help you succeed. We should start with our tax code. Right now, companies get tax breaks for moving jobs and profits overseas. Meanwhile, companies that choose to stay in America get hit with one of the highest tax rates in the world. It makes no sense, and everyone knows it. So let's change it First, if you're a business that wants to outsource jobs, you shouldn't get a tax deduction for doing it. That money should be used to cover moving expenses for companies like Master Lock that decide to bring jobs home. Second, no American company should be able to avoid paying its fair share of taxes by moving jobs and profits overseas. From now on, every multinational company should have to pay a basic minimum tax, and every penny should go towards lowering taxes for companies that choose to stay here and hire here in America. Third, if you're an American manufacturer, you should get a bigger tax cut. If you're a high-tech manufacturer, we should double the tax deduction you get for making your products here. And if you want to relocate in a community that was hit hard when a factory left town, you should get help financing a new plant, equipment, or training for new workers. So my message is simple. It is time to stop rewarding businesses that ship jobs overseas and start rewarding companies that create jobs right here in America. Send me these tax reforms and I will sign them right away.
Okay, that clip, once again, demonstrates what we all know that we need from a business. Creating jobs is our number one priority. It should be our number one priority for all business leaders in America today. Doing so back in the manufacturing sector should be top of the list. The tax breaks and the adjustments in the tax codes that President Obama is talking about are absolutely necessary. Now, we all know that you got varying views how to accomplish these tasks from the Republican side and the Democratic side. But if we can just put these labels aside and approach it as we need to do it once again for the American side and actually get on with the work of rearranging and adjusting these incentives. There's nothing better than manufacturing jobs that we could do in the United States. And to the point, moving jobs offshore. Well, I see both sides of that. I've worked in international for a lot of years. I've owned companies international. And as a CEO, you have a responsibility to your shareholders, right? But there's also a social responsibility that we have, and that is to balance the bottom line with ethical behavior as well. Now, these opportunities are huge. President Obama also said, it's go into communities that were hit hard, and it's make money available for these companies that are willing to risk and to start businesses in those communities. All the economic development entities around the United States and in our home state of California, it's no secret that we are just been devastated in our budget upside down as well, in our deficit. And the recent elimination, if you will, of the redevelopment agencies within California is another issue as well, okay? So this is the flavor that which we're going to continue to drill down on today's show. We're going to look at opportunities. We're going to lay out things that you can actually do in order to start tomorrow. If you're looking to start a new business, if you're looking to expand your business, or if you're just trying to figure out where your life needs to go. That's what the remaining of the show is going to be about today. So, you're watching KYMB TV, Comcast Channel 19, and we'll be right back after this message.
Are you looking for a clarity of purpose? Are you a recent college graduate, unemployed, an entrepreneur, or considering a career change? A business owner or employee struggling with performance issues? Classes are forming now for the worldwide phenomenon, What's My Purpose Life Mastery Course 2.0. What's My Purpose Life Mastery Course 2.0 can help you define your goals and vision. Start living your life on purpose. Living on purpose is about joy. Living on purpose is about intention. Living on purpose is about personal transformation and continued growth. What's My Purpose Life Mastery Course 2.0 is a 12-week challenging course that helps you address finances, relationships, spiritual growth, physical and mental health. You will reclaim your personal power and get your life on track to attain true success. Classes are forming now for What's My Purpose Life Mastery Course 2.0. Learn more and register at What's My Purpose.
Thank you very much, and that's what'smypurpose.com, what'smypurpose.com. I'd encourage you to check out the website and join us in one of our classes, many classes that we teach. Now, what I'd like to do now is to share with you a memo, and this is from Warren Buffett. Unless you have just new into the business world, you know that Warren Buffett is famous for his letters to his shareholders. And he's also very famous for his mid-year letters. Now, once again, we're not here to say where you agree or disagree or where it's 1% and 99%. We're here to do everything that we can to bring you some of the best thought leaders and capitalize on best practices. So you sitting at home can get off the sofa and do something in a very positive way with your life, right? Now, as I was preparing for the show and last Monday's show with Stephen M. R. Covey and Greg Link was very powerful. Even though we had some technology hiccups, it worked out good. It worked out great. I shouldn't in my language today. It worked out great. Now, in part of this process, we are planning a follow-up show sometime in March, if we can get all of our calendars together. And it's our intent to bring some of these leaders that have endorsed the book on the show as well. And we're doing this for one reason, is to show the world that trust, I mean, there's not a better word, the smart trust, the speed of trust, and organizational values and vision and culture is a big deal. You heard the president make reference to trust several times in those two clips that we watched, right? So, as we drill down, and as I was doing the research, and I said, you know, what is it we're going to do on the 30th day of January? I can't believe the month's already over with. To be able to continue, and I know I'm being somewhat redundant, but it's the whole thing, tell them what you're going to tell them and tell them again, right? So I am being somewhat redundant to only say, man, there's opportunity abounds. There's also challenges, but there's plenty of opportunity that you have if you will just systematically sit back and say, oh, this is what I need to be doing, or this is how I can get better and how I can improve my family's life, because you get up every day and you go to work, for one reason, that's to create a quality of life for you and your family. That's it, okay? Now, I'm going to read some of the letter, the memo that Warren Buffett wrote to the Berkshire directors July the 26th, 2010. Now, his 2011 letter is not out yet, but it'd be here shortly. So, as he says, this is my biannual letter to reemphasize Berkshire's top priority and to get your help on succession planning, yours and mine, he says, okay? Now, that's absolutely critical. What a great way to start a memo to one of the most, one of the most wealthiest man in the world. And I have studied Warren Buffett since I can remember. He took over Berkshire in like 1965. He's been at this game for over 60 years. So I don't know who's better qualified in order to give some business advice than Warren Buffett. So he says the priority is that all of us continue with zealous to guard Berkshire's reputation. This is critical. Reputation. And some of the things that we have been hit with in the United States, and for those businesses that maybe walk the fine line between what's legal and what's not legal, may not necessarily go to jail for it, so to speak, but their social responsibility and what's right and what's wrong. And that's the critical thing that we have. That's what we got to continue to do, is to do the right thing all the time, consistently, right? We can't be perfect, he says, but we can try to be. I cannot agree with that more. There's no perfect individual. There's no perfect plan, but we can certainly try to be as perfect as possible in developing and to leading our families and to leading our companies and our organizations. Now, as he says, I've been writing these memos for more than 25 years. Now listen to this. We can afford to lose money. I'm going to repeat. We can afford to lose money, even a lot of money, he says, but we can't afford to lose reputation. Now that is a mouthful. We cannot afford to lose reputation. Your reputation, it's the most important and the most valuable asset that you have. And it goes back to the book Smart Trust. And one of the 5 tenets, do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, right? And do not reach out and have blind trust, Stephen and Covey and Mark Covey and Greg Link says in their book. So this is the reason this book and everything that they stand for is so critical and it's so valuable in today's environment. Now, Warren goes on to say, but we can't afford to lose reputation, he says, even a shred of reputation. We must continue to measure every act against not only what is legal, but also what we would be happy to have written about us on the front page of a national newspaper in an article written by an unfriendly but intelligent reporter. Now that's also a mouthful. I could not agree with him more. I do not misunderstand. I'm not certainly putting myself in Warren Buffett's financial bucket. I'm not. But the principles, his beliefs, man, I ascribe to, and I've been going to school on the Warren Buffetts of the world. Another great mentor that I have a lot of respect for is Jack Welch. And once again, where you agree or not, this is some of my guiding and my mentors by distance. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody needs a mentor and everybody needs a confidant. And everybody needs to believe in themselves that you can. And this is the opportunity that we have today in America. We're sitting on the biggest opportunity that I've seen in over 40 years. Yes, and even with the economic challenges, there's where the opportunity lies, if in fact that you can only believe. Now, we got to get another break in, and when we come back, I am going to talk a little bit more about some of Warren Buffett's from his letter. And then we're going to drill down just a little bit on the circle of success. So we'll be right back after this message. You're watching KYMB TV, Comcast Channel 19.
This segment is brought to you by 12 O'Clock High Leadership and Management Summit. 12 O'Clock High is one of the undisputed best movie classics of all time. It is also one of the best business learning tools available. The movie rated #1 by top executives for its influence on their management styles. Now, the inspiration of the 12 O'Clock High Leadership and Management Summit. an innovative one-day event and 30-day follow-up where you will quickly see what's working and not working on the front lines of your company and in your own leadership style. Learn more at 12high.com. That's 12high.com.
Thank you, David. We're back. We're doing, our next 12 o'clock highs, March 2nd, San Jose, Dolce Hayes Mansion. So if you're interested in that, love to see you there. I'm going to continue on the Buffett memo, Warren Buffett. No disrespect by calling him the last name. I'm going to pick up here, and these words just reached out to me. I mean, they just grabbed my heart when I was reading these words because it's so, I go, yeah, right. And you probably recognize this, and Mr. Buffett, in continuing his letter of July the 26th, 2010, he says, sometimes your associates will say, everyone else is doing it, right? Is that familiar? Everyone else is doing it. This rationale is almost always a bad one if it is the main justification for a business action. I couldn't agree with him more. So what I want you to do when you're listening to these words is to stop and reflect on your business, where you're an employee, in your family, those things that you say, well, someone else is doing it, versus what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do. This is the course correction that we need more than anything, is a moral course correction in my mind to make sure that we're making decisions in the best interest of all Americans, and as you CEOs and your business owners, for the benefit of your employees and for the people that you serve. And also for us as parents and spouses, being able to make those decisions that are ethical for all of our family members as well. Now, he goes on to say, it is totally unacceptable when evaluating a moral decision whenever someone offers that phrase in a rationale, right? In effect, they are saying that they can't come up with a good reason that they're following the crowd, if you will. If anyone gives this explanation, Warren Buffett says, tell them to try using it with a reporter or a judge and see how far it goes. Now, these words are strong, they're pointed, and they're powerful, okay? They're very, very powerful. Very powerful. And, in my opinion, right on point, right on target, and very much in alignment to the trust, very much in alignment to my Circle of Success process and my What's My Purpose process. Everything that we do is to help hone and teach you different skills and to reinforce opportunities that's there that you may not be able to see. Now, he also goes on to say, if you see anything whose proprietary or legality causes you to hesitate, right? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn around, and you see it behind the show all the time, it's the Circle of Success, right? And I'm going to continue to, I'm going to point out a few things if we can, I'll get turned around here, okay? I'm going to point out a few things, and it's to your question, it's your question as to what is the Circle of Success? Well, everything that we have seen on the two clips from President Obama and the things that I've shared with you from Warren Buffett, it goes to the heart of the Circle of Success. Now, we're just going to keep a wide view here at the moment, and then I'm going to hone in on a few things. When I developed the Circle of Success concept, it goes back in the early 80s. And then when I started our consulting company in 1991, I was looking at all of these practices that we had used and learned, and to try to put them in a format that which we could teach and we could inspire people with, and we could educate, and to make sure that everybody that we were blessed to be able to have an opportunity to share these principles with, where that know that there's nothing that's a theory here, but something that actually worked. So as we go around this image, when I start on the left-hand side here, it's called vision, right? Well, that's some of the things that, President Obama was saying. He's laying out a vision for the future for the country. And that's one of the things that you need to do, is vision for yourself, vision for your family, business for your enterprise. Without having clarity to that, I mean, it's going to be a ship like with no rudder, right? So you got to have the vision. Now, the next thing in this whole process, and like I said, this is a teaching show today. The next thing in this whole process is the mission. Now, the mission is defined as, as we looked at, mission is defined as your reason to exist. That's what you're in business to do, or it's your purpose as an individual, which outlines what your unique DNA is, what you were put on this earth to do. That's your purpose, that's your mission. It's sometimes referred to as your calling and your bliss. So without having real clarity to what that is, you cannot develop strong strategy or goals in order to move you forward unless you're absolute clarity to your mission. Now, at the bottom, this is one of the things, I'll make sure I stay in the shot here. One of the things that we have at this bottom of this foundation of this pyramid, right, is organizational values. Now, everything that I've been sharing with you from Warren Buffett has to do with organizational values. And everything that Stephen M.R. Covey and Greg Link are talking about in their book, Smart Trust, is trust. In another word, organizational values, how we use trust to develop a value base within our organization. And that goes back to the point that Warren Buffett was making here when he said, everyone is doing it, and what's the right thing to do, and we cannot afford to have a little blemish of our reputation. We can't afford that, right? To have a blemish in any regard. So let's take a look a little bit more about what Warren Buffett says. It is somebody is doing something today at Berkshire that you and I would be unhappy about if we knew it. Well, big words. There's someone right now, real time, doing something that's not the right thing to do somewhere in the United States and around the globe. Someone is doing something. Now, Mr. Buffett goes on to say that we employ more than 250,000 people, and the chances of that number getting through the day without any bad behavior occurring is nil. Well, understand, because we are human. We have some very interesting genes sometimes, right? So, but what I like about this approach, and especially in this time in our country, in America, and also, I mean, this can go across the borders as well, with the opportunities and the challenges that Europe is facing, which faces us, the opportunities and challenges that we are facing in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan and other places around the world. These things are real, and if we just continue to believe in that there is value developing trust, trust of nations, trust of people. We're going to get better. But it's no quick fix. There is no fast bullet that's going to solve all this, other than leaders having the bold and the responsibility and the courage to set aside their own personal gain and to step out there and let it be known that we as Americans, we want trust, we want integrity, and we want that back in our political leaders, and we're going to hold everybody to a higher standard, both from our elected officials and our corporate officials and our NGOs, and everybody's to a higher standard. And we all have an opportunity to be part of this higher standard. Everybody does, okay? And this is some of the things that we need to be teaching as well, starting at elementary school and middle school and high school and preparing. And I believe some of our best leaders are coming from this generation. I know it. And unfortunately, too many news cycles only report the bad things that the kids are doing and so on and so forth, which is important as well. But here at KYMB TV and at the Circle of Success Show with Dr. Jim White, we want to be able to take it a step further. We don't mind calling you on your stuff either, but we also want to reinforce the good stuff that's happening in our community. And we're broadcasting live from Monterey, California, and we got a great community on the Monterey Peninsula. We got a lot of great resources. We got some great, one person said it the other day, the Monterey Peninsula is becoming one of the think tanks, and I agree with that. We got a lot of great stuff going on in the peninsula. Now, part of that is becoming assuming that leadership role, if you will. Okay. Now, we got to get another break in, and we come back after this break. We're going to continue to drill down on the Circle of Success a little bit more, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what Mr. Buffett's had to say in his mid-year letter. So you're watching KYMB TV, Comcast Channel 19.
Business is constantly changing. The challenges of the 21st century have never been greater. There is competition in every field, and technology is more fluid than ever. Bold, innovative thinking is needed. Organizations and individuals are looking for leadership, opportunity, and a way to grow. That way is finally here.
I love teaching. I love sharing. I love sharing from the heart, connecting what I call the heart and the head.
Hundreds of companies and thousands of people have been inspired by one man.
Even from nothing you can accomplish if you have the will, if you have the perseverance, if you will work hard on setting goals and achieving those goals and holding yourself accountable to each and every one of those goals.
Jim White has dedicated his life to inspiring excellence in people.
A+. The man was knowledgeable. He had lived everything he talked about. He was extremely sincere. He was succinct, and he was inspirational.
He's given me some thought and some ideas on how to reset my goals and how to restructure my life.
A hugely successful businessman himself, Jim decided years ago to share his knowledge. Over the past 30 years, Jim White has mentored everyone from Fortune 500 CEOs to small business owners. He has helped numerous companies and individuals achieve their financial and personal goals. His Circle of Success is a blueprint for excellence and achievement.
I got the strong feeling that Mr. White was speaking from a huge amount of experience built up over the decades, which I think adds a lot of dimension to this kind of a seminar.
Wants to make you get up and do something tomorrow about changing your life.
J.L. White International is a management consulting and leadership development organization. Through workshops and one-to-one training, Jim and his staff have inspired audiences all over the country and have been able to achieve remarkable results by focusing on human capital and designing customized solutions to increase revenue and productivity. J.L. White International is guaranteed to inspire excellence. Isn't it time you discovered what true excellence in business is really like?
Thank you, David. We're back. Let's pick up, before we look at the circle of success a little bit more, I want to pick up and share this from Mr. Buffett's letter as well. Prior to the break, we were talking about that he has over 250,000 employees, and somebody's doing something bad, and it's probably naive to believe that's not the case. But he goes on and say, but we can have a huge effect in minimizing such activities by jumping on anything immediately. Now, I'm going to take just a second to talk about that. When things happen, or when the wheels come off your wagon, one of the best things that you could do is just jump out in front of it and say, hey, we blew it, not try to hide it or put a spin. We got to be straight up, just come straight out. And this is some of the things, what Mr. Buffett is suggesting here is to make sure that when bad behavior occurs, we can really work on it. And when it does, just jump out there. And he goes on to say, your attitude on such matters expressed by behavior, and that's what I call, from the circle says, walking your talk, right? Doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Express behavior as well as words. Well, words are pretty easy sometimes, and they're also very powerful. But yet, you've got to be consistent in your behavior. You've got to model the behavior from a leadership standpoint, and it's not a sometime thing, it's an everyday thing. It is a 24/7. If you put yourself in a leadership role, it is not something that you can be, go do bad things and come back. It is a consistency. It's a responsibility, and it's also an honor to be in a position of leadership. And that's what we teach, and that's one thing that we believe in to our core. Now, he goes on and says that, as well as word, will be the most important factor in how the culture of your business is developed. You see here, we've been talking about culture a lot today, which is trust, culture, vision, mission, organizational values. These are the foundation. These are the foundation of your enterprise. They're the foundation of your family. These things are real. They'll say there's not anything trial and error here. These are real things. So I want you to think about where you are today in doing these things, okay? Now, he goes on to say, culture more than rule books determines how an organization behaves. Well, man, how powerful. So these words from one of the richest men in the world, richest man in the world, should guide us a little bit. And like I said, everybody is going to agree with everything that I say, and you shouldn't, or everything that Mr. Buffett does. But I think there are some principles here that I know are accurate and true. Based on 40-some-odd years of experience. Now, he goes on and says, in other respects, talk to me about what is going on as little as much as you want. And what I want to emphasize there, I had a follow-up session from one of my 12 o'clock high programs this morning from 9 a.m. to 10. And what we do after each one-day session, we have 4 follow-ups, which is really critical to be able to reinforce what you learned from our one-day 12 o'clock high and other programs. And one of the things that we were focusing on today was behavior, communication, delegation, barriers to delegation, and those other tools. And I'm so proud of this group of students and participants and business leaders and some from around different industries, how well they are accepted. And what's really neat about the individuals that make a decision to say, I want to reach out for help. It's not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength from a leadership, okay? And all the culture that's been developed as a result of that, okay? Now, it's amazing. The hour just flies by here. But what I want to do before we get too far into the hour, I'm going to go around the circle just to bring it all together briefly. So I'm going to see if I can turn around here. We've talked about the vision, right? That's your future. What your mission is, what you're in business to accomplish. And we've been talking about for the past 45 minutes, for the most part, trust and organizational values, right? Now, what I want to do is start clockwise here, and you'll see where it says personal growth. Well, this personal growth aspect of the Circle of Success is I define it as an ongoing program of becoming the best you that you can be. And it's to having the courage to look at your stuff, if you will, and to be able to grow as an individual. Now, when I first developed this process, a lot of business leaders look at me and say, you're going to talk to me about warm and fuzzy stuff, we're going to hold hands, we're going to sing, and no, just to the contrary. We're going to talk about that there is a need because, as Mr. Buffett's been pointing out in his letter, and I've been sharing with you, individuals are just that. And if we don't consistently try to improve ourselves, what you focus on is what you get, whether you believe that or not. It's true. So where you put your focus is going to be your results, right? So that personal growth is a big deal. Continue to do that. And then as you look around the circle, the next thing is communications, right? So that's a whole element of communication, and what I'm talking about there is the ability conveying meaning and obtaining understanding, and to be part of that is through words. Part of that is understanding behavior and being able to understand individuals. That's and understanding and recognizing individuals' differences and strengths as well as opportunities for improvement. Then down at the bottom of this whole process is planning. Well, when we're teaching that, you're at home, it's planning for your budget, planning for college, planning for retirement. And in the business environment, it's your strategic planning, your tactical planning, your financial planning. All of these things are critical and the things that you need to master, okay? Then as we move around, the organization function that I have in the Circle of Success has to do with aligning the resources in relation to your goals. And when you get a good plan, that's where your goal setting comes in, right? So then you got a good goal, then you've got to make sure that you're aligning the resources in relation to your goals. And there's only 4 resources that you need to accomplish anything on the face of the earth. You need the right amount of money, right? You need the time to do it. You need the people to do it, and you need the resources to do it. So once again, these are the things. Where are you today in those areas that you're trying to accomplish in your business or in your life, right? And the next thing is the staffing. It's building the bench. It's recruiting. It's retention. And just like Mr. Buffett was talking about, succession planning. And that's a big deal. You got to recognize that the bus concept. If you walked out, you get run over the bus, things have got to go forward. So we got to make sure that we have a bench in place. You got to be deep in your bench, and you've got to make sure that you've got that succession plan, and because the world is going to go on, whether we like to believe it or not, with or without us, and it's the sign of a good leader is where you're going to set the framework for that. It's not about you. A lot of our leaders believe it's all about them. It's their ego. And like I said, sometimes ego is used as a bad thing. It's not. But anything overextended, any strength overextended will certainly become a weakness. So the ego is not a bad thing as long as it's not misused, okay? Then this component of the Circle of Success, which I call controlling. That's the whole element of holding people accountable. That's a big deal. That's how you communicate. That's how your financial performance. And as Mr. Buffett says here, okay, here we go. He says under performance in one of his letters here, Charlie and I believe, Charlie Munger, his longtime partner, and I believe that those entrusted with handling the funds of others should establish performance goals at the onset of the stewardship. I couldn't agree more. Lacking such standards, management are tempted to shoot the arrow of performance and then point the bull's eye around wherever the arrow lands. I love that. I couldn't agree with you more. That's the reason you've got to be so specific in the goals that you're going to set. Now, a lot of you that's watching the show today, you might say, man, what is he doing? But I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, what we've been able to do today, starting with President Obama's the opening clip and then that second clip, and sharing with you what's the best practices of one of the most richest men in the world, and bringing us back to you in your home, in your business, knowing that you can take some of these practices and actually apply them to yourself. Do not sell yourself short. Set your goals, set big goals, bold goals, and focus on that, and make sure that you don't try to do too many things at one time, right? Then, of course, at the top, which I worked on, you see the arrows moving right in the center of the word leadership. And I define that as inspiring self-motivation in others to achieve goals, right? And that's important, that inspiration. It's not saying I'm going to take a baseball bat and make them achieve goals, but inspiring others to achieve goals, okay? So that's a brief review, and at your request, what is the circle of success? So we went around that. How does it apply to me? I think we've shared that. How does it apply to Smart Trust? I think we've shared that. How does it apply to the course correction of the United States? I think we've shared that, okay? We got to get in another quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about a few things and talk about upcoming shows. So you're watching KYMB TV, Comcast Channel 19.
This segment is brought to you by 12 O'Clock High Leadership and Management Summit. 12 O'Clock High is one of the undisputed best movie classics of all time. It is also one of the best business learning tools available. The movie rated #1 by top executives for its influence on their management styles. Now, the inspiration of the 12 O'Clock High Leadership and Management Summit, an innovative one-day event and 30-day follow-up where you will quickly see what's working and not working on the front lines of your company and in your own leadership style. Learn more at 12high.com. That's 12high.com.
Thank you, David. We're back. What I want to do now, I just want to put this up. I think we got a shot of this, right, David? Yeah, perfect. What's my purpose, and the reason I wanted to lay that out? It's a book that I wrote in 2007. I actually started working on this thing in the early 90s. It's in a 12-week 90-minute course that we teach every Monday night from 5 to 6. And the reason that's so important, because it goes to this personal growth side. It's a journey that allows you to go inside and to make sure that you are doing the things that you were born to do, that unique DNA, that unique talent that you have. So that's very important, and that's part of the process. So, what we've been able to do today on the show is exactly what the mission of the show is hopefully we've inspired you to take some action, and mission of the show is to educate as well. We've certainly done that today. In my mind, we've given you a lot of tools and food for thought. And in the upcoming weeks, we're going to continue to reach out and to bring some of the top CEOs and political leaders and elected officials. And as we continue to move into this 2012 presidential election cycle, I would certainly like to get the candidates to start addressing in some of their debates these issues that we've talked about today on the show. And only you can help us do that. The social medias and it's powerful, so please pass this on. We want our leaders of the future, and this election that we're coming in is a critical election. It is critical. And please do not think you cannot have an influence over the outcome. You can. Please do not think that you are defeated. You may be at home. You may be out of a job. You may be suffering from some health issues. There's opportunities. There's help. And anything that you may need or have any questions on, go to our website, jlwcos.tv. jlwcos.tv. You'll find a contact form there. Send us an email. Tell us about some of the issues that you have. And we have talented resources that we can help you. And that's what we want to do. We want you to know that you have a friend and you have a support group. That's what the show's all about, okay? That you have a support group. Now, we got to get one more break in, and we're going to come back and we're going to wrap up the show. Okay, one more break. You're watching KYMB TV, Comcast Channel 19.
This segment is brought to you by Circle of Success, a dynamic, year-long intensive management and leadership development process designed to help individuals and organizations reach their goals quickly. A customized process addressing specific needs and identifying the critical opportunities particular to the individual and organization, with results measured in increased revenue, increased net profits, and increased equity. The Circle of Success, inspiring excellence in people. At jlwhiteinternational.com/circles.
Thank you, David. Wanted to make sure that we got that image on the screen because we've been talking about the Circle of Success, a big part of the show today. So as you have an opportunity, hopefully you have an opportunity to go back and watch the show again, and you'll and you can go to the website and download that image as well, and make sure that you look at it. So that's a great shot on the screen now, just a great shot. And no. If you master all of those components there that you're looking at, man, I tell you what, you're on a rocket ship, if you will. You're unstoppable, okay, for you to do that. So once again, we're out of time for today, and next week we have some guests from the banking industry that we're working on. We're going to come and talk about the state of the bank and how to, where to go find money. We're going to do a follow-up from a show that we did on crowdfunding, how we can go about creating funds and raising funds for your business. So I want to thank everybody, and I appreciate you tuning in today. And we will be back next Monday, 1 p.m. Pacific. So until then, make it a great week. You've been watching KYMB TV, Comcast Channel 19. This is Jim White saying make it a great day.
This has been Jim White's Circle of Success Show. Please visit our website, jlwcos.tv. Join us next time as Jim White brings it all together on Jim White's Circle of Success.